Hi guys, this is Michelle Fixit. Today is June 23rd, 2023. I'm currently in the cat room, which is a mess, a big mess. And so I'm still trying to get it organized so that way I can get all of my admin stuff done and still trying to put the house in order because it was just like total chaos. Um, but anywho, I just had a very interesting phone call. Um, and so evidently there's like some type of connectivity issue going on with my phone. And so there's a gentleman that I've been getting, and I didn't know because the name was like neutral. So I assumed that like either someone just put my number with my business line or something because I keep receiving calls for this very particular name. And I'm like, no, they're not affiliated with my business, blah, 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 or our business, because I try to seem like my business is bigger business than it is, because like that's a pro thing. Treat yourself like you're big, and then eventually, you might turn big. Otherwise, you at least get, a little bit of cool stuff going on. Um, and so, anyways, his sister called, and so it wasn't like the other people that were calling; they were like business people, and like like the numbers that you assume are like spam calls, and so she was like, oh, I guess I have the wrong number. But like, she sounded flustered, and so I called her back, and I was like, hi, like, who is this person? And like, are you trying to get a hold of them? Because like, or I guess our numbers are crossed, literally. And she was like, oh, it's my brother. And I'm like, oh, well, he's getting a bunch of phone calls on my line. And, can you find out if he's getting phone calls on his line for me? Because husband cat and cat daddy dog, or daddy cat dog, also have been like, I've called you before and you didn't answer. And I'm like, I have no idea that you called me. And you just don't. And I'm down to one phone, so it's not like they have the 228 as well. And so I'm wondering like how long our numbers have been crossed. And then because I'm me, I'm like such a weirdo. I was like, hey, here's my YouTube. Um, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes because now it's like another little caveat to all these other little things that we have going on. Because like I saw Stealthy Cat last night, and I was like, hey, you have videos, and like we need to see what's going on with your cat box. And it seems like because they just got another notice. It seems like what the apartment complex is doing is like they fulfilled the first obligations that were going on because like there's an eviction process that keeps going on because medical stuff and not medical stuff and looking for a job and things happen, life happens, and some people get kicked out of their boxes all the time. But anyways, they fulfilled, and I made sure that I was a witness and everything. They fulfilled their first paperwork with that, and then they have a second paperwork chain going on, and then they just got a letter in the mail that says that they're about to do that the company is about to start a third one, but then they've already fulfilled the first one. The second one should be the only one, and now the third one is supposed to be the first one and the second one together to form a third one. And then I find out that they have a family member at the same place that's going through the same thing. And I'm like, this is how people get kicked out of their boxes because they don't understand when when a company is doing the wrong thing, maliciously, not maliciously, bad at paperwork, whatever. Don't have people that are bad at paperwork in charge of paperwork. Don't have people that are not abiding by the law in charge of things that are administrative that could uproot people from their boxes. So I have to watch that situation a little bit more clearly, but they do have, even though I gave it to them from the Natty Cat a little bit ago, they are supposed to be going to see a temporary staffing place. I don't know much about that stuff. I've always been an employer and not an employee, so I have no idea. But it's a really cool little system where like it makes money for the company, of course, because they're in charge of transport. But basically, the Natty Cat told me with the stuff that you go in, you have your identification, two forms of identification, and then like as long as you're showing up, then they'll take you to a job. And I think that's great for people that have two forms of identification. And it's a 1099 thing and everything else, but it's stable employment because he said that it works very well, and then it can open the door for other forms of employment because he's on his own cat path with another position at another place, and he thinks he's going to get that one. And then my cousin Cat, he was working on something else as well, And he now, hopefully has, his little next phase of life, career that he was really excited and wanted to get into. So it's stuff like that where it's like, I just needed to share the information because, like, while I know a lot about a lot, I didn't even think about the temporary staffing agencies and all that stuff. They charge like $9 a day to transport people to and from their jobs. As long as you go to their place of business, they will transport you to the other jobs. And I think all that's really good because that means that, like, when people need a job and they need some, cash, and it's kind of flexible because I'm assuming that, like, if they only have Monday, Wednesday, Friday availability, then they can show up Monday, Wednesday, Friday and they have a job, and it just kind of cuts a lot of that stuff out of the stuff. And then the employer, they get a person. I don't know if they have any fees from that, but I mean, I think all around it's a win-win with that stuff. So just want to let you guys know about that. And then my cardiology appointment is going to be today remotely, and then I have another appointment that I have to take someone to, and so it's just a bunch of stuff. So just trying to keep you guys up to date. And last night I was able to connect the YouTube to the TV, and so then I get to see myself on TV, and I was like, that's me, and I felt cool. I did. I'm a dork. Well, I mean, I've been in the paper for, like, good things, and then I've been in, like, I was in the paper for something good and cool, and then someone found me when I talked about it, and then I was like, because I was helping my cat daddy dog with, like, his dream at the time, and so then someone was able to find it, but they couldn't find any pictures of me, and then what was it? And then I made the paper again, and I'm not going to tell about that one because then people will find out about that one. And I was like, and then, like, when I saw the name of the person that wrote the article, or when they called me because they're like, hey, we got to talk to you. We want to write a story up about you. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was really, like, nervous about it because in between, like, the happy for Cat Daddy Dog and the happy for the other place and the journalist, I liked her name, then, like, in the middle was, like, all this bad stuff that had nothing to do with me. And it all had everything to do with, like, mob mentality and scaries and bad stuff and everything else. So, like, eventually you guys will get all the middle ground stuff. But and, like, that was my biggest fear about, like, being more out there and open and stuff like that, is that, like, it was a lot. And now I'm just like, you know what? It was a trauma, and it was a trauma that I didn't deserve, because it's not like I consumed beverages and then got behind the wheel of a vehicle and did a bunch of stuff and cost anyone their stuff. I didn't do anything, but I got involved in a lot of stuff. And, as a positive, I did get to learn how the legal system worked. And I was not happy about some of it, and found it to be, as someone that is very educated informally, I found that that system could really eat someone alive if it wanted to. But then I recently have been able to find out about other systems, other legal systems, in bigger areas, and it's handled in a different way. So stuff always depends on where you are. And so, like, if you're in a super small area, just know that your legal system is going to be a lot different than a legal area in a very large community. But, so that's your morning talk. This poor guy, I'm going to have to make sure that, like, I text his sister when he gets calls, because I don't know if they're affiliated to his work or not now. And I'm just like, no, can you take this number off your calling list? In a nice way. And everyone's been, like, very nice. But, like, his sister was super nice, too. And I was like, here's my channel. Because I'm weird. So I'm going to wake up Baby Hulk because he was, like, sleeping a little bit longer. Hopefully he didn't pee through his clothes. I have laundry to do. I'm going to feed him, do all the good stuff. And I will see you guys in a little bit. I'm waiting. And I did some jamming out yesterday in my truck because, like, there were just all these songs. And I was like, meh. I don't really have anything to talk about because I'm in a perky mood. And I'm either in a perky mood or I'm trying to be in a perky mood because I'm grumpy because I messed up stuff. And, like, so that is one of my healthy coping mechanisms, if you guys are reaching out for them, is that you can be super angry or super sad or super negative emotion, and you need to have go-to songs or radio station or one of those little playlist things that people have to be able to alter your mood. You can alter your mood if you try to. I know that that is my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion, and people say I'm just like, oh, I'm just, depressed. Try it. If you want to choose to be depressed, then be depressed. But if not, try something new. All right, bye.